because most of them, for example, in Saudi Arabia, which is the most favorite destination of our OFWs, physical, emotional, mental, and even sexual abuses.
Of course, I'd mentioned the preventive side, no, which I will no longer.
Oh, we know
touch
about the
upon.
preventive already. I'm
Yes.
talking about they're already
Yes.
posted
Yes.
there.
Yes.
They're already
Once-
working.
Once they are there to operationalize it, sir, we have our migrant workers offices with labor attaches on
The
the
legal protection, this is the primary need of most, if not all, OFWs already posted in the host countries. We're talking here not only of Saudi Arabia and probably the GCC countries. These are the Gulf states. These are the Gulf cooperating countries. Pare-pareho naman yung scenario dyan eh. National Information Report, PIR. And from this report, there is a summarized backdrop of who you are, who you have been, what are you, and from which we will ask questions by way of sizing you up, your competence, your merit and fitness as an appointee, Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers. In this particular report, you summarize your advocacies as to how you would like to lead the department. And I summarize some of them, and correct me if I am wrong. I can see here, one of those advocacies is providing legal, medical, and humanitarian assistance through the 1.2 billion Action Fund. There's another one here, Mr. Secretary. Continuing engagement with countries by entering into new and more equitable bilateral arrangements. Further strengthen and broaden the DMW as the tahanan ng OFWs. Perform regulatory functions for purposes of safe, fair, and ethical recruitment and to combat illegal recruitment, etc., etc. Pursue deeper bilateral labor relations with OFW host countries, etc., etc. Proactively participate in regional and multilateral fora in coordination with the Department of Foreign Affairs to further advance migrant workers' right, protection, and development. Did I summarize correctly some of the advocacies that you wish to pursue in protection of our OFWs, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, Mr. Majority Floor Leader.
Can you please explain how you will operationalize these protective measures that you have just outlined? Because earlier in your opening statement, you said about rights-based approach. This is very important because I believe when the OFWs are already working in the host countries, they're very, very vulnerable, not only domestic helpers, which are now being called household service workers. Kahit na skilled and semi-skilled workers are also vulnerable. Pag nando na sila, if they are deprived of effective and adequate protection, I mean legal protection, because most of them, for example, in Saudi Arabia, which is the most favorite destination of our OFWs, physical, emotional, mental, and even sexual abuses are suffered by these workers. How do you operationalize the protection that you have indicated, Mr. Secretary?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Majority Floor Leader. Of course, I'd mentioned the preventive side, no, which I will no longer.
Oh, we know
touch
about the
upon.
preventive already. I'm
Yes.
talking about they're already
Yes.
posted there.
Yes.
They're already
Once-
working.
Once they are there to operationalize it, sir, we have our migrant workers offices with labor attaches on board. We now have them in 39 destinations. In all the Gulf states, in all the countries with a high concentration of OFWs, may presensya po tayo doon. And yung ating migrant workers offices had already been reinforced with 94 local hires over the last few months. And there will be an additional number around 94 to 98 or so regular
What do
items.
you mean local hires?
Local hires po sir ay yung mga tao on the ground na bihasa na sila, OFWs, some of them who are already well versed with the language, with the culture, and are also enabled to help our OFWs in terms of
Let me
cases
direct
on the
my
ground.
question to you, Mr. Secretary. When I say legal protection, this is the primary need of most, if not all, OFWs already posted in the host countries. We're talking here not only of Saudi Arabia and probably the GCC countries. These are the Gulf states. These are the Gulf cooperating countries. Pare-pareho naman yung scenario dyan eh. How do you legally protect the oppressed, the maltreated? I begin with the physically abused, the mentally abused, emotionally abused, and even sexually abused. If you talk about the hirings in the MWOs, these are the migrant workers offices. For example, in Saudi Arabia, you have 3 MWOs. Am I correct, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, Mr.
One in
Secretary.
Jeddah, one in Riyadh, and one in Al Khobar.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Meron ba kayong legal representatives to protect the rights of our workers?
Yes, Madam Chair, Mr. Majority Floor
Sino
Leader,
po sila?
we have legal retainers that we have hired all throughout the kingdom. And we have legal representation whenever an OFW is either accused in a criminal case or is or willing to put forward a case, either a criminal complaint or a labor complaint before the foreign tribunals. Such as
Sorry
in
to cut
Saudi.
you, Mr. Secretary. When you say legal retainers, are these local secular lawyers?
Yes, sir. They're locally hired. They're well versed with.
How many
legal-
secular lawyers did you
Uh,
hire?
Right now, we have two law firms in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that we had hired. And
But they are retainers, Mr.
they're legal
Secretary.
retainers. Yes. We provide legal assistance.
If you hire only legal retainers in JCC countries, hindi ba 100 cases lang bawat isang retainer? Is that correct?
Hindi naman po ang arrangement.
No, you have to check your facts because I know, I have researched this. Kasi ang gusto namin, can you imagine these are vulnerable citizens of our country? They are on their own and they are expecting adequate and effective protection once they are there. Kasi po, ang pagkakasabi natin, they are living dynamic modern day heroes, sabi mo kanina. They are even co-architect of our national development. You said that earlier in your own opening statement. So let us provide them with adequate, effective protection. Legally speaking, pag retainer po, Mr. Secretary, 100 cases lang po yun. How much do you pay the legal retainers? Secular lawyers. For example, in Riyadh, how many secular lawyers did you retain?
As I've mentioned, there are two law firms that are representing us all throughout the kingdom.
All throughout the kingdom.
Madam Chair, we have our migrant workers offices have specific instructions to provide the maximum assistance in terms of cases that come our way. So we will not necessarily be limited to 100 cases. In fact, we are also looking at the prospect of hiring more lawyers within the kingdom. We are just starting with these two sets of law firms, Madam Chair. But rest assured, we will strengthen our legal representation, and there are specific instructions to not just go within a limited quota with respect to legal cases that we could handle.
Madam Chair, I am belaboring this aspect because if you hire only in-house retainers, they are not supposed to be considered personnel of MW why don't you hire in-house lawyers so that they can be deemed personnel employees of MWO so that they can work from Sunday to Thursdays? Kasi walang trabaho ng Biyernes at Sabado, di ba, Mr. Secretary? So they will work from 6 a.m. to what, 9 p.m.? Is that correct?
As far as I know, Madam Chair, the legal retainers are on call at whatever time that they are needed. In fact, the reason why I would know this is because some OFWs need help in the police stations, and it could be at an ungiven moment or any uncertain hour.
You have to check your facts, Mr. Secretary. You have to check your facts if they can be called on call because retainer lang sila po eh. Alam niyo yung retainer. And if you have only 2 legal retainers, napakarami po ng problema sa Saudi lang. Paano po ma-undertake po nitong 2 retainers po ninyo kung hindi po in-house lawyers ang inyong i-employ? I also studied that most of your hiring in the MWOs are Sharia lawyers. Wala naman pong problema sa akin yung Sharia lawyers. But you know po, sila'y Pilipino. Sometimes, if not most of the time, wala nga silang work permit dun eh. Yan yung problema. Minsan po nahihirapan silang mag-transfer. Bakit po? Alam po ba niyo yung AbShare app, Mr. Secretary, operating in Saudi Arabia? Do you know that?
I have heard of it, Mr. Congressman.
Yung AbShare app, Mr. Secretary, is a web portal. It's a smartphone application. Dito po lahat na ilalagay. Pwede kang mag-renew ng license, pwede kang mag-renew ng iyong passport, at pwede rin ilagay ng employer dito ang kanyang hurub. Alam po ninyo yung term na hurub. These are runaways. Tumatakbo po sila for one reason or another. Ang dami pong mga problemang ganito. Pag kayo po ay nahurub, reported as hurub, do you know the status of an OFW, Mr. Secretary, who was reported as hurub? Alam po niyo kung ano yung magiging kalagayan niya? Can you please answer?
Yes.
What is the status of an OFW who has been reported as hurub?
Essentially, Madam Chair, the status would be uncertain. Yung kanyang status will be may pending case po siya, and under the immigration rules doon po sa host country ay hindi po siya makaka-uwi o makakaalis. Kaya po pumapasok po yung ating migrant workers offices precisely in the first place to shelter the OFW needing shelter under hurub status, and also to assist that person in terms of clearing his or her name para po siya makauwi na ligtas sa ating mahal na bayan. And I have figures, Mr. Congressman, of the cases which I could share.
How many, Secretary?
We have, the cases are divided into various categories. This is a report from MWO Riyadh. 96 maltreatment cases, 1,283 contract violation cases, 92 with health problems, 287 personal problems. The immigration-related problems, which could be hurub cases, would be 701. Sexual harassment, 15. And we have 3 rape cases and 37 in other categories.
Ilan ang total, Mr. Secretary?
The total would be 2,514.
So kung dalawa lang ang retainer mo, ang bawat isa, tig-1,000. Do you think kaya po nilang ayusin lahat yun? Hurub po ito eh. Ito po yung most extreme na problema pagka hurub ka eh. Karaniwan po, i-report po ng employer na hurub para lamang siya makabawi. It is a leverage being used by the employer. Kasi pag nag-complaint yung employee, hindi siya sinasahod, hindi siya binabayaran, or any other contract violation, okay, yung end service benefit ayaw ibigay. So para makaganti siya, to get even, pag-ano siya ng hurub, kawawa yung ano. The hurub, Mr. Secretary, is deprived of all the rights of a legal worker to seek job. Kasi hindi siya makakapaghanap ng trabaho. He cannot even he cannot even seek medical consultation or hospitalization. He cannot even file complaint. He cannot even open a bank account to send money to his family. That is the problem of a hurong. Kaya po ang kanina po yung sinasabi ko, kung ang advocacy ninyo is to protect, let us protect them. Pero paano mong po-protectionan? Let us fight, for example, an opponent. Wala naman tayong army. So the advocacies that you have listed here become empty socio-economic aspirations. Kailangan po natin ng protection. You need secular lawyers, in-house lawyers. Huwag mong sasabihin, Mr. Secretary, na mahal po. Talagang mahal. I think to employ one secular lawyer is about 15,000 real. That's about 225,000 pesos. Mahal po talaga yun. But you have a budget. What is your budget today, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, Madam Chair, there's no question that we have a budget, and that's why the instruction is to hire more lawyers. I was about to say that alongside the 94 local hires that we obtained last year, we are poised to hire 98 or so regular positions. And so with this, pwede pong isama doon, Mr. Congressman, yung sinasabi niyo yung in-house lawyer. At tama po kayo, 2.8 billion ang ating budget. Hindi po kami magtitipid when it comes to
Kaya nga, you have
legal
to
representation.
estimate the numbers. Kasi tingnan mo lang, yung arbitrary reporting of Kuro, Mr. Secretary, in Riyadh alone, there's an average of about 12 runaway workers per day. Imaginein mo. Pagkatapos, wala ka man lang in-house lawyers. Sharia lawyers ang nando. Pilitling. Karaniwang ginagamit yung nagta-translate po. They are adept in Quran and in Hadith. But you know, they are not well-versed in the secular laws of the host country. Administrative, criminal, civil, labor, immigration, etc., etc. You need someone or somebody, a phalanx of legal defenders for the rights of OFWs. Pag wala po ito, all this na sinulat natin are empty social aspirations. Ito po yung nagiging problema natin. Bakit hindi po tayo for example po, in Riyadh, you can hire at least 3 secular lawyers. In Jeddah, you can hire 2. In Al-Khobar, you can hire 1. Di ba, Mr. Secretary?
We fully agree, Mr. Chair. Right now, when I say 2 legal retainers, I mean 2 legal retainer law firms, which could be more than 1. But we fully agree it will never be enough in terms of the legal support that our OFWs need. I sought confirmation, Mr. Chair, that indeed our legal retainer law firms are required to provide 24/7 services. Kasi nga po, sometimes ang nature ay kailangan talagang may puntahan na distressed worker. And rest assured, Madam Chair, Mr. Congressman, that we will maximize our legal assistance efforts. Pangako ko po yan. At yes, we will abide by your suggestion.
Paano nga yung gagawin mo, Mr. Secretary? Ito nga na, tingnan mo ang isang secular lawyer, sinasabi ko sa iyo, will cost you 15,000 real. That's about 225,000 pesos. So that will be 2,700,000 pesos per year. So kung kukuha ka ng 3 para sa Riyadh, 2 para sa Jeddah, 1 para sa Al-Khobar, 6 lang yun eh. That will be only 16,200,000. It's only 1/2 of 1% of your budget. Bakit hindi ganito yung sabihin natin? Ang palagi natin sinasabi, spiritual reflection, okay lang po yun eh. But let us protect those who are nandun na po sa field na po sila.
Yes, Madam Chair, we fully abide and agree with the suggestion, the point made by the Honorable Congressman, and rest assured we are on the path of strengthening our legal services. The MWOs have been carefully instructed to increase the legal retainers and mindful, of course, of the quality ng kanilang hinahire na mga abogado. And again, to reiterate, we had hired 2 legal retainer law firms and not necessarily individuals.
Ang dami kasi, ang dami. For example, do you know, Mr. Secretary, that the burden of paying the expired ICAMA and work permit is shifted to the worker? Do you know that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and that too is included by the assistance efforts that we can undertake. And we do pay immigration fines, including ICAMA fees, as we speak, to OFWs out of that action fund.
Yun na nga, isa-isayin ko na para how many of these skilled workers na nagtatrabaho sa mga mega companies in Saudi, for example, na mayroong expired ICAMA and work permit. Do you know the number? Ang dami po nito. When their contract is finished, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair, the new employer cannot accept them because the current employer, the old one, shifted the burden of paying the penalty of renewal of ICAMA. Alam po niyo kung magkano? Alam po niyo kung magkano yung renewal,
Hawak
Mr.
yung
Secretary?
amount sa ngayon. But as to the question, ilan, 701 nga po yung immigration-related programs as I reported. But right now, I have to be honest, hindi ko alam yung exact fees. But rest assured, Madam Chair, that our MWOs are instructed to pay off in whatever amount the immigration-related fines or fees, including ICAMA fees.
No, but the report of the PIR of the Commission, Mr. Secretary, indicates that you've been working for 23 years. I studied this for only 2 days. Alam niyo kung magkano yung amount po ng penalty? The average cost ranges from 9,500 reals or 142,000 pesos up to 13,000 reals or about 195,000 pesos every year of non-renewal. Problema po ng mga workers ito. Ang dami po nito. Tingnan po ninyo yung mga household service workers natin, Madam Chair. Kung minsan, ang dami po nito, you do not even know how many of these, bigla na lang silang itatransfer ng kanilang current employer sa new employer. Nangyayari po ito. Problema po ng mga domestic workers na ngayon po'y tinatawag na household service workers. Kahit na paano natin pagandahin ang tawag sa kanila, that's not even important. Importante ang pagandahin natin. Paano natin sila po proteksyonan. Yung pong mga foreign recruitment agencies, kung minsan kinakasangkapan itong mga employers na to, for a hefty amount of something like 225,000 to 450,000. Malaki po ito eh. I know that many times, ang MWO pupunta po para kunin yung ating domestic helper. Na kung minsan naman nakukuha natin. And yung old employer na may kasalanan na siya nag-transfer, babayaran niya yung bagong employer sapagkat nagbayad. Ang problema, Mr. Secretary, maglilingger na naman siya doon sa ating bahay Kalinga. Hanggang hindi naayos ang kanyang problema. Kamukha po ng mga huruf. Magtatagal siya doon because of an ineffective legal service. Wala po talaga. Tatagal yun. Hindi natin kailan matatapos yung mga huruf cases at saka itong mga ito sapagkat kulang nga tayo ng mga tao na sila talagang lalaban para sa kanila. Ito po yung problema. Yung erring employer is not penalized, wala pong tetestigo para sa kanya dahil pauuin natin siya because of the one repatriation command center. Tingnan po ninyo sa isang advocacy, Madam Chair. Tahanan ng OFW. This is our vision for DMW. Tama naman eh. But if I may suggest, Madam Chair, dapat hindi lang tahanan eh. Muog ng DMW, ng OFW. You know what muog is in English, Mr. Secretary? Refuge. Mapagsasantigan ng OFW. Ito po yung dapat nating ilaban kahit makarating kahit saan makarating, ilaban natin. Hindi yung palagi na lang nating pinauuwi. Minsan po, magre-refuse ang employer to issue exit visa sa mga domestic workers. Problema na naman yun. Kasi nag-abscond yung domestic helper. For several reasons. Yung sinasabi nating mga pang-aabot. And so on. So mag-abscond siya ng contract. Ang gagawin ng employer, wala siyang exit visa. Anong mangyayari sa OFW? Pupunta na naman po sa bahay kalinga. Ganito po yung problema natin. Unless and until you provide an adequate and effective legal protection to our OFWs, our problem, hindi natin mariresolve even in the near future. Magtatagal at magtatagal po tayo. Ilan po, Mr. Secretary, ang OFW natin with pending cases na hindi po ma-repatriate o ma-deport because of a policy in Saudi Arabia and in other Gulf states na kapag meron po silang kaso o kaya meron siyang pending claim, hindi siya makakauwi unless bitawan niya yung claim niya. So ba't naman bibitawan ng claim ng OFW? Karapatan niya yun. So maglalagi na naman siya doon sa ating bahay kalinga. Problema na naman natin yun. Hindi dapat ganun ang mangyari. Do you understand
I understand the magnitude of
the problem?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Hindi po cosmetic ang ano dito eh. Hindi cosmetic ang approach dito. Yung oppositors, may validity yung problema ang sinasabi nila eh. Tiningnan ko po lahat ito eh.
Opo.
Malaking problema talaga ang inaharap na. Until and unless you are able to present an effective pathway. Hindi lamang yung pathway kung saan patungo yan. Yung problema muna ang atakihin natin, Mr. Secretary. Can you present today an effective pathway towards the direction of protecting adequately? Para po masabi natin
Yes, Mr. Chair.
ang DMW ay tunay na muog, hindi lamang tahanan ng
Yes,
OFW.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, kung pwede, Madam Chair, pwede ko pong unahin yung aspeto na nabanggit ninyo na kailangan makauwi na hindi makauwi. Part of the function of our repatriation unit in the Department of Migrant Workers is precisely to impose our regulatory authority. And that is one effective means, I would say. Yung pong kapangyarihan natin dito na mag-regulate ng mga licensed recruitment agencies. Nung una po akong pumasok sa DMW, yan po ang sabihin na nating ipinataw namin na patakaran. May mga recruitment agencies po na nag-react. Kasi doon po sa kasong din describe nyo, Mr. Congressman, precisely is one of the cases that we have encountered. Yung binibueltahan yung worker ng kaso, let's say theft o ano paman, para lang siya ma-neutralize yung kanyang claim, mabaon siya sa pagiging hurog o hindi siya makalabas ng bansa, hindi makapagtrabaho. Kaya't ang isang sinagawa natin ay yung regulatory side natin for on the part of the licensed recruitment agency and the foreign recruitment agency to help in terms of facilitating lalo na doon sa aspeto ng pag-release dahil nga po merong sponsorship system doon na siya rin namang ini-engage natin ang host country sa pakikipag-usap. Meron pong mga paunang ulat sa Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Mr. Chair, na yung matter on transfer ay riniresolba na nila at we are continually engaging the Saudi side na yung pong adverse effect ng sponsorship system ay luwagan na po nila, lubayan na nila kasi nga po merong mga hindi makalipat sa kanilang choice o kaya hindi makauwi sa pamamagitan ng kanilang free will. Doon sa aspeto ng pathway po ng pagtulong, malinaw po sa akin, una, na kailangan may sapat tayong tao. Kaya ang bungad ko pong sagot kanina ay yung tulong ng local hires, pagkakaroon ng supplementary or counterpart regular kapantay, no? So may 90 plus local hires, may 90 plus din tayong regular hires in that same part of the world. Number two, yun pong local hires na yun as you had described and the regular personnel as you had described, Mr. Chair, nakaangkla sa kanilang mga assistance to nationals desks in terms of pagkakaroon ng outreach, malaman yung mga kaso that come their way. At through our lawyers, sabi nyo nga po, pwedeng in-house at yung ating legal retainer law firms ay agaran pong magbibigay ng tulong. Agaran pong magbibigay ng rescue kung nasa police station, pupuntahan sa police station. Kung kailangan pong puntahan sa bahay kasama ang police authority, sasama po yung legal personnel natin doon. At sabay po pagsampa ng kaso sa karampatang legal tribunal, kapulisan o korte sa Saudi
I'm sorry
Arabia
to cut you,
at
Mr.
pag-manage
Secretary.
po ng kaso.
Alam na natin yung processes. Ang sinasabi lang natin, what we need is the correct number of people that will be hired by MWO para po itong legal issues na to ay talagang matugunan. Kasi po kung dadalawa lang po yung retainer, paano naman nilang matutugunan ng libu-libong kaso? Mga tao lang naman po ito at retainer lang sila. By the nature of their employment, they cannot even attend to more than 100 cases. Ito po yung diretsuhin natin. Hanggang ngayon po, hindi nyo nakukonsider yung sinasabi natin. Meron naman kayong budget. Siguro, I don't mind if you hire 100 siguro na mga secular lawyers corresponding to your budget. You can even raise, a budget to fund this intended hiring of secular lawyers. How will you do it? Tingnan mo, Mr. Secretary. Be imaginative enough to do this. Ang isang OFW, binabayaran ng isang Saudi employer of not less than $6,000. Is my information correct? Ang isa pong hire, binabayaran yan ng Saudi employer, $6,000.
6,000, depende sa skill set, sir. Kung skilled workers po ay pwedeng umabot sa $6,000 kada buwan. But of course, iba po ang
Now, let's say
sweldo po.
$6,000. Okay. Do you know how much the Philippine government is getting out of the verification fee? Magkano po?
Meron pong around $10, I think, per verification document, sir, per contract.
Magkano po yung $10?
$10 is around 500 plus pesos, sir.
Mr. Secretary, yung Saudi government is getting 27% of that $6,000 pagka po yung mga HSWs natin. Ibig sabihin domestic helpers. But it gets 40% of that amount pagka yung skilled workers kaya yung sinasabi mo. Hindi po totoo. Ang sabi nyo, yung nakukuha natin, $10. Hindi po. Ang nakukuha natin out of that is 80 reals. Katumbas po ng $21. Isipin po ninyo, $21 ang napupunta lang sa gobyerno ng Pilipino. That's only 1/3 of 1% dun sa deployment fee. Pwede naman natin pagbayarin yung mga Saudi employers ng magbigay ka ng additional $200 because we need to protect our OFWs. This is the gist of the matter, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair. The protection of our workers is indispensable. Kahit burlaloy yung pa natin, they are modern day heroes. They don't need that. Sorry po. They don't need that. The protection, the effective, the total protection. Ang sinasabi po niyo kanina, Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, are palliatives. What we need are Panacean measures.
Komisyon. Actually, noon pa po kami nagkakaroon ng pagkakaisa at pakikipagtulungan. Mahabang panahon na po talaga kasi nagiging problema ito. Mahabang panahon na namin idinudulog. Nasana naman yung mga problemang palasak na problema sa... Actually, bago lang itong Department of Migrant Worker. Kami po ang naglabi nito kaya po nagkaroon ng Department of Migrant Worker. Hiningi po namin ito kay Pangulong Duterte at ito'y naaprubahan under Republic Act 11641. At yun nga po, nung magkaroon na po kami ng sariling kagawaran, ang buong expectation namin talaga na magkakaroon ng tunay na pagbabago. Subalit sa 2 taon, wala pa rin pong pagbabago, bagkus patuloy pa rin po ang paglobo ng ating mga problema. Dahil bilang isang advocate po ng OFW, nakakatanggap po kami personally ng mga tawag, ng mga text na sila'y nahihirapan sa iba't ibang panig ng bansa. Especially po sa
Sir,
Mr.
Madam Chair.
Please directly
Hindi,
answer the
ang tanong ko
question.
lang po, sir, naiintindihan ko po yung problema. Hindi ko po sinasabing walang problema. Ako'y OFW din po dati. Alam ko po may problema. Ang tinatanong ko lang po is, ngayon po, nandiyan na po ang secretary, nandiyan po yung buong opisina. Willing po ba kayong makipag-usap at ma-inquire kung ano yung solusyon na pwedeng gawin? Baka naman doon sa 100 na problema, meron kalahati, masolusyonan natin. Yun lang po naman ang aking katanungan.
kagalang-galang na komisyon po. Bilang opositor po, ako po sa aking personal na opinion, kailangan po magkaroon talaga ng isang secretary na hindi na po mahabang panahon na humawak sa aming OFW concern related. Dapat, ang kailangan po namin talaga yung may tunay na pagbabago.
Sir, ito na po yung...
Tungkol po dun sa bagay na yon, kagalang-galang na komisyon. Noon pa po kasi meron talagang pakikipag-usap dyan. Hanggang sa ngayon po, wala naman po nangyayari. Puro usapan lang po. Kaya bilang opositor, kami po ay tumututol. Yun lamang po. Gusto po namin
Okay.
magkaroon po ng isang tunay na kalihim na magmamalasakit sa sektor ng OFW. Not only for me, for OFW sector.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, the two oppositors may now be excused. Majority
po.
Leader,
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, for lack of material time, I move to suspend the deliberation of the ad interim appointment of Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak, Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers. I so move, Madam Chair.
there is a motion from the Majority Floor Leader to suspend the deliberation of the ad interim appointment of Secretary Kakdak as Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers,
Second.
duly seconded, and there being no objection, the motion is hereby approved. Majority Leader,